Hi guys, welcome this week. This week we're doing ratatouille and stuffed peppers. First of all, it's ratatouille, but because someone has asked me about vegetarian dishes, although ratatouille is a vegetarian dish, I've decided to add a little bit of pasta to the ratatouille. You'll see that at the end, and make a little savoury rice dish, which will be out of the same ingredients apart from just a little bit of rice. And we'll do a stuffed pepper as well. So the first thing is the ingredients for the ratatouille, which is aubergines, courgettes, peppers, onions. That's the basis, with chopped tomatoes, tomato puree, garlic, and your herbs. Now I have only fresh basil here. You can use all dried stuff as well. It's all the same. So the first that I'm going to do is just chop up the vegetables. Now you can do this, you can chop this up as thick as you want or as thin. I like it medium size so that it doesn't take too long. So basically you could have this ready in about 10 minutes, and it's great for a side dish, and as I said, it can be used for vegetarian pasta as well. So just do me onions first, like that, and just top and tail your peppers. Like, doesn't matter if it's red peppers or green peppers or yellow peppers, but for the colour I like to use a wee bit of all of them if possible. So what I'm going to do is cut this pepper slightly different than the green pepper, and I'll show you why at the end of this clip, okay? And the same for the yellow pepper as well. So I'm going to leave them there, because they're going to do for the stuffed pepper, to show you how to make a little vegetarian dish with the same ingredients. Okay, so just taking out the seeds, cutting out the stalk, and then just going to chop up the green pepper first, or the yellow pepper, sorry. So as I say, it's as big or as small, so I like them medium. Taking out the stalk. That's your peppers and onions cut. I'm just going to save a few peppers and some onions here, okay? You'll see that at the end when I finish off the ratatouille. Top and tail aubergines. Obviously you would have these all pre-washed, I should have said that earlier. I don't want to make too much here today, as there's no one else here to eat too much of it, so I don't want to waste the food. And this is ideal that you can make this, and as I say, you can reheat it and use it for pasta as well. There's many times in the restaurant we would add other stuff in there, some carrots, maybe some cauliflower, some broccoli, especially if you were making the vegetarian pasta with the ratatouille. Cooking, it's all about, you get the basic recipe and you can add and you can take away from stuff. So that's the mixture. So just going to put this into a bowl while I chop up. It's just the garlic and basil that I have to chop up now. And that's more or less your preparation done. So a couple of cloves of garlic. Look, some people like loads of garlic, some people like a few. So these are ready to be peeled. I'm just going to chop them up fine. If you had a garlic crusher, at home, you can use that as well. I just find that it's as well to chop up yourself. So that's your garlic, and as I say, the only herb that I have fresh is basil, which would be lovely. And I'm going to use the rest of the herbs just out of a wee jar, okay? So, that's your mise en place, or your preparation all done. So what we do now is turn on a wee pan. We got of oil. So guys, all I'm going to do now is the pan, it's quite warm. Yep, it's just adding, hopefully you can hear that on the camera. So I'm not going to use all what I've chopped up. This will the mixture that I've done will do 4 or 6 portions easily. So just going to get them started. As you can see, it's quite colourful, and that's what we're looking for. Now, in some recipes they'll tell you to put in onion first and then the garlic. Sometimes by putting in the onion and garlic, if you're not used to cooking, sometimes the garlic burns too much, so I always tend to do it this way when I'm showing people how to cook and giving them the ideas. So the smell of that coming off the onions and the peppers, courgettes and aubergines, is perfect. So just going to let that sit there. What I'm going to do here while we're waiting for that to cook out is onions and peppers that I've left aside. Because they're a wee bit chunkier than what I want to do the rice dish, I'm going to just chop them up a little bit more fine. In this rice dish, I always say to people, you can add some mushrooms, is quite nice in it. You can add aubergines and courgettes in. So what we're going to do is cut this up. Onions, peppers, and a little of the courgettes and aubergines. Nice and fine, that's what you want this with. Just leave it sit. Perfect. Now ideally you can do this in a deep pan instead of a frying pan. I'm just doing it in the frying pan today so that hopefully you can see it a lot better. So I think that's nearly ready for our herbs and garlic. So that's fresh basil on there. We have oregano, some salt and pepper, and some rosemary. Okay. Now that smells good. When you're cooking this at home, you'll see the aroma of the flavours come together. Oh, it's just amazing. Just let that cook out a little bit, right? Well, that's just cooking out even more. I'm just going to tidy up our peppers. So what I'm trying to do is take the stalk out of it and the seeds. Basically it's the same ingredients but only done slightly different, with just one thing, two things left out and one thing added. Okay, so that's your peppers, which you got a salt and pepper, so we drizzle olive oil, and you put them into the oven now for roughly about 6-7 minutes. Okay. I'm just going to go and do that now. Now that the peppers are in the oven, guys, just going to finish off this part of the dish, the ratatouille dish here. So, I always say 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. Now you can use fresh tomatoes if you want, if you have them, if you're lucky enough to have them. There's a good way of using up older tomatoes as well. And just maybe a spoonful of tomato puree. And now you cook that out for, I think on the recipe it says about 10 minutes, which is fine. If you like your vegetables to be nice and chunky, a wee bit less. If you like them to be really soft, a little bit longer. And what you would do then is correct the seasoning and taste it. Sometimes it might need a wee bit of salt and pepper, but I know this doesn't at all. So I'm just going to red this away and just take it up. Now, so that's the ratatouille done. I'm just putting them into little individual bowls. You see, guys, great wee side there of the dish. And that's your ratatouille. As you can see, I've left some in the pan, which John's made a mess on the table. So what I've done is left some of the mixture in the pan, the ratatouille. And what I'm going to do is, this is some pasta that I've cooked off and cooled down. I'm just going to add it in, just to show you that you can make the ratatouille into a vegetarian pasta dish. It's just a little bit of water in it. Just cooking this into the pasta. The pasta will take all the flavour. At this stage you can correct the seasoning, you can add more basil, whatever kind of herbs and spices you prefer. But just to thicken it up slightly more, because I've added water, I'm going to add in a little bit more tomato puree. That's the ratatouille used in with pasta, guys, and that just makes it into a wee vegetarian dish. I'm just going to garnish it here just to show you so simple. Just a wee bit of basil, and that would be absolutely beautiful with a wee bit of Parmesan cheese. And that's it. As you can see, that is more or less the same ingredients apart from the pasta. So hopefully you will give that a go, and hopefully that gives our vegetarian friends a slightly different option as well. So guys, that's what we're going to do now is the filling for the stuffed peppers with more or less the same ingredients. Okay, so pan, you put olive oil again. Look, it doesn't have to be olive oil, it's just what I use in the restaurant. And your finely chopped vegetables and the garlic here. so I'm just going to check the pan, see if it's ready, and it is. So, once again, you'll get the smell, the aroma. So because it's a lot finer than the ratatouille, but as you can see, same ingredients, it's just a lot smaller. It'll cook so much quicker. And this is what we want. We want it to cook quick. It's one of these little dishes that is great for a quick meal, especially a quick vegetarian meal. So that's your garlic. Add it in. Now, this I'm only going to add in the fresh basil and not anything else. Just like, I think this is nice garlic and basil. So, fresh basil. And the only difference, as I say, a couple of things that we're leaving out and some things we're adding. So the only things we're leaving out is tomato puree and the chopped tomatoes, and the only real thing different that we're adding this time is a little bit of soy sauce, okay? Yeah, and it can be dark or as light as you want. So some soy sauce. And all we're going to do is that I've already cooked some rice here. Now you can add a stock cube in if you want to add more flavour. A little bit of salt and pepper here. And in the restaurant we would use different spices. It really is to everybody's individual taste what you would add. Here I've just all-purpose spice to give it a wee kick. For people who like really hot stuff, you could add in some chili flakes, some chili powder. But this I've just kept quite neutral. But as you can see, apart from the rice and the soy sauce, it's the same dish. So I'm just going to get the peppers out of the oven now. So these are the peppers just out of the oven, guys. Should have a little bit of juice in them. Just a wee bit of the olive oil and also the juice of the peppers. When the peppers have softened, that's why we put it in the oven. We're just going to add in the juice. I always think nice flavour from the peppers. And all I'm going to do, turn off my little gas, is I'm going to stuff them like so, and I'll put them in the oven for around 3-4 minutes. Now, technically you don't have to. Look, the peppers have softened enough, ready to eat. What we tend to do in the restaurant is put them in and then you get your plate ready for garnishing, because we make this to order. So I'm just going to do the same way. You can add vegetarians. Some people like cheese on top of them, some will decorate them with more soy sauce, sweet chili, but that's more or less your dish there. I'm going to throw them into the oven and just garnish your plate. Okay? Now guys, so that's in the oven for a few minutes. A wee bit of salad leaves here, so a wee bit of herbs around the plate. As I say, you can garnish it whatever way you want, or with nothing, or as plain. This is just a little bit of balsamic reduction. And sometimes we would put sweet chili sauce, I think I've said that. And that's just your stuffed peppers for vegetarians. And that's as simple as I can make it. So hopefully you enjoy that and give that a go as well. It's a little bonus from the ratatouille, but as I say, it's just the rice and the soy sauce that I've added.